I don't like giving dissertations on videos, but sometimes I'm left with little to no choice. And in this case, that's exactly what I've been left with. The reason I don't give dissertations is because they get to be long, drawn out, boring, and nobody ever watches them. But I've changed my mind in this case. Alright, the first accusation was presented to me was I don't have a list. I have a list this time, so we're going to go through this step by step. Number 2, I was accused of going to the videos of my students and dissing them on a regular basis. I have 559 subscribers. Many of them are my students. I have watched their videos, but I have never gone on a regular basis to their channels and ripped them apart on their videos. Never have. As a matter of fact, some of the videos I've ripped on, later on we all got to talking, they found out I knew things they didn't know, and actually we became friends. I actually sometimes gain subscribers rather than lose them because of the things that I do. Now then, you say, well, okay, why do you do what you do? Okay. I could stand here and do like teachers do. Teachers give pop quizzes and assessment tests for 2 reasons. Number 1, teachers don't want to teach their students things that their students already know. That would be pointless. So now the teacher has to find out what their students don't know so that they can adequately and accurately teach their students what they need to know. Getting the picture so far? The second reason why they do this is so that the teacher doesn't talk over the heads of the students. I want my students to understand me. And if they don't know what I'm talking about, they'll never understand what I'm saying. That's the second reason why I do this. Now then, I could stand here and make a pop quiz or an assessment test and put it up here on YouTube. As a matter of fact, I made a 15-question Christian test. Do you know only one person actually took the test? I admire that one person for doing so, but nobody took that test. And even if they took it, they probably didn't give me any answers. Actually, I know they didn't give me any answers. So there you go. Now then, that's why I don't do pop quizzes and assessment tests. The only way that I have found effective to find out what my students may or may not know is to go find videos on the internet that I find are so full of egregious errors that then I can give a proper response and see how people are going to react to me. And I've never been let down yet. Let's take Coney 2012. Okay? Coney 2012 stated that an idea is the most powerful thing in the universe. Really? I can think the most powerful thought in the universe, and this pen will still hit my paper. See? It's not your thought that's powerful. It's how you implement that thought that makes it powerful. Number 2, he was saying human beings are all born the same way. Really? Cesarean section? We could go on with test tube babies. We can go on with in vitro fertilization. It's just erroneous. These are errors so blatant that even a preschooler with a little bit of education could pick out in a second. And so that's why I went after it. Now, what about Copper Cab? Okay, what was his error? He was apologizing for 2 groups of people he should never apologize for. Group number 1, these people were people that were not sorry for what they did. And Copper Cab was apologizing for them. That was an error. Number 2, Copper Cab was apologizing for people that had never done anything wrong. And that was an error. I picked up on that in a heartbeat and went after it. What about Beauty Crush? Beauty Crush, obviously at the time she made her video, had no idea about social anxiety disorder. Otherwise, she would have done her video differently. Okay? She is not a trained psychologist. She is a trained beauty guru. That's what she is. I don't dispute her beauty guru-ness. I dispute the fact that she's not a trained psychologist and she can't make rulings like what she did. And I went after it. And that led me also to the fat Aussie bastard. I have literally seen thousands of videos, thousands of them, full of expletives on a regular basis. I've never gone after one of them. Why did I go after the fat Aussie bastard? Because he was portraying himself at the time as a family-friendly channel. And I said, nope, you're not. There you go. So, that's why I went after him. Now, what about Dan Brown? Okay, Dan Brown did two things that irked me. Number one, he was saying it was perfectly okay to use expletives. It is not. Expletives make you sound stupid, they can break up relationships, and they can get you fired. And I clearly illustrated that on one of my videos. I showed website after website after website that said, if you work for anywhere between hospitals to data processing centers to full-blown retail, and your boss, your employer, finds out about it, he will fire you, which creates a lot of financial hardships for people. So it was not that he was using expletives that was the problem. It was the fact that he was saying not only is it okay to use them, but also he encouraged it. And if you listen to his video carefully enough, that's exactly what you're going to hear. You guys just simply weren't paying attention. Okay. So, that's why I went after it. I was showing that it is not okay to use expletives, and these are the things that are going to happen if you do. Now then, I never compared Dan Brown to Adolf Hitler. That's erroneous. I was trying to bring up a point. Dan Brown was saying that intelligent people know when and when not to use expletives. I can counter that argument. Here's how I did that. I brought up John Wayne. Who was John Wayne? He was an American actor. He starred in a lot of cowboy and military movies. He also starred in a lot of cigarette ads. Something that a lot of people apparently are not aware of. Now then, John Wayne developed lung cancer from constant smoking. He went and got treatment for it, and afterwards he felt so bad about starring in those cigarette ads that he went out and made a full-blown ad campaign to hopefully stop kids from smoking. And he did this all the way till he died. This is something I admire. I don't admire him for smoking. I admire him for taking responsibility for what he did. Same thing with Tracy Gold and Princess Diana. They weren't smokers, but they suffered the same ailment as Karen Carpenter. Karen Carpenter was a singer, okay, and she died of anorexia nervosa. And Tracy Gold and Princess Diana took a cue from her and publicly revealed their anorexia struggles in the hopes that they could keep kids from becoming anorexics themselves. I admire that. Thirdly, we have Robin Williams. He was chock full of intoxicating substances. But he cleaned up his act, and then he went out and did a campaign against drug use. I don't admire Robin Williams for his drug use. I admire him because he cleaned up his act and then went out and tried to denounce drug use. That's what I admire. Now, how does all that defeat the intelligence argument that Dan Brown was saying? Dan Brown was saying, well, people are too intelligent to make mistakes like this. Really? If that's true, then John Wayne would have never smoked. If that's true, Tracy Gold and Princess Diana would have never suffered anorexia. And if that was true, then Robin Williams would have never ingested a single intoxicating substance. You say, wait a minute. Now then, John Wayne had known people who had suffered and died of lung cancer due to smoking. Even when he made the cigarette ads, he knew this, and he still smoked. But a better example is with Tracy Gold and Princess Diana. They had learned from Karen Carpenter that anorexia can kill you, but they became anorexics anyway. And if we wanted to go one step further with this, Robin Williams already knew about the drug use of Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Jim Morrison. It all killed them, but yet he did drugs anyway. So being intelligent has absolutely nothing to do with your behavior. There's no correlation between them. And that's what I was saying about Muammar Gaddafi. If Muammar Gaddafi was so intelligent, why did he kill so many people? Adolf Hitler, he was a brilliant man, and look what he did to the economy of Germany. And do I really have to tell you what he did to 6 million Jews? Being smart doesn't affect your behavior. Being wise does. Okay? I mean, I could go on with, how about Jeffrey Dahmer? There was a smart man. Yet he killed people. John Wayne Gacy, he was a smart man. He killed people. Ted Bundy, smart man, killed people. Do I need to go on with illustration after illustration? There is no correlation from being smart to bad behavior. None. That completely destroys Dan Brown's argument. Alright, final point. Well, maybe not the final point, but we're getting close to the final point. Here's the next point. When I was a kid, my parents used to take me down Main Street. We had a whole bunch of mom and pop stores. They were wonderful. They were great. They were fantastic. We got all kinds of unique merchandise because of them. And we ate at places we would have never eaten otherwise. Okay? So it was a really wonderful experience. But at that time, years ago, when the topic of sex came up, oh, those magazines, they were put in aluminum foil. They were stuck off to the side. Kids couldn't get access to them at all. It was a wonderful time. Of course, that's not the way it is today. Go to your Cosmopolitan magazine and you'll see sex all over the place. I just don't believe kids should be exposed to sex at such a tender young age. Let kids be kids for a while. Maybe that's why kids are so screwed up these days, because they're exposed to sex far too quickly. And I know there's a lot of parents that would agree with me on this. And the thing is, I'm not even a parent, and I don't have even a wife. I don't have a wife, I don't have kids, and yet I understand that young kids should not be exposed to sex. So, now you say, well, how does this apply to the homosexual parades? Okay. When you have a homosexual that's standing in front of a shopping center and handing out leaflets, you can always direct the kids, say, hey, we'll just go this direction and we don't have to deal with this person. No big deal. If you have a college and they have these booths and one of them happens to be of the gay pride thing, we can just take the kid and walk him past the booth. No problem. The difference is that we have this 20-foot parade with thousands and thousands of homosexuals all over the place. Now, how are we supposed to avoid that? What, we can't go downtown because there might be a gay pride parade going on? And it gets worse, because they have gay pride parades now at Disney World. If I had a wife and family and I wanted to go on vacation to Disney World, I certainly would not want my kids exposed to that. What, I can't go to Disney World now because of it? That's what I'm talking about. The simple fact of the matter is, when you make such a public display of yourselves that we can't avoid you in any way, shape, or form, that's forcing your agenda upon us. You make it impossible for us to get away from you. And that's not what we want. So, when you post up videos on YouTube, we can say, okay, kids, don't watch this video. When you stand there and you pass out leaflets, we just walk away from you. No violence needed. If you have a booth, we just walk away from it. No problem. But when you have a 20-float parade, how are we supposed to walk away from that? And let me tell you something. I know what would happen if Christians came up with this 20-foot parade of their own and started to pose that down Main Street. Boy, you'd have all kinds of objections. And I know you would. And you know I'm right on this. And I know I got a lot of parents that would stand there and say, Ted's right. It's not even about homosexuality. It's simple fact that we just don't want our kids exposed to sex like that. They get enough of it as it is. Let the kids be kids for a while. Maybe they won't be so screwed up for a while. Whew. Now, the final charge. Well, you put up way too many rant videos, okay? I'm getting ready to put up 2 videos right now. One's on the healthcare bill. The other one is the Video Response Wars winner. I was going to put up last night and I just got too tired. Now then, I'm going to put up an Italian lesson tonight. And on top of that, I'm going to do more on the healthcare bill, and I'm hoping to put one up on trig. As a matter of fact, because I've been depriving my students so much, I have decided, for the time being, not to find any more videos to rant on until I get my educational videos up to par. I think I have enough information to work with at this point to know what my students do and do not know. So hopefully that'll satisfy you people. Unless I find something that's just tremendously controversial and I really need to address it, I'm just not going to go searching for it anymore. I got better things to do with my time than that. I've got all the answers I need. But there will be a lot more educational videos because I see that you guys really don't know a whole heck of a lot. And I'm sorry for that. Now, a special note to my students. Just because you don't know this stuff doesn't mean that you're a bad student. There is no such thing as a bad student. Okay, if we want to go back to the original Karate Kid movie where he said, there's no such thing as a bad student, only a bad teacher. There you go. So you're not bad students. It's just your teachers never taught you all this stuff. And I'm sorry they didn't. But hopefully through me, you'll be able to learn all this stuff and you'll become better students. And that's precisely what I'm hoping for. Now, the other charge was, well, we kind of feel a little used because of you. Okay. The thing is, I found one of the quickest approaches to getting the word out about what I'm really trying to do here is maybe take a few people off. Then they get to talking about me. And after a while, the word spreads around. And people start checking out my channel. And some of them begin to realize what I've really done here. And then they go to every homeless shelter. They say, look, this guy is presenting a ton of free education. Sure, he rants once in a while, but you don't even have to watch those videos. He's got a lot of great education, and we need to cash in on it. We don't care whether we believe in this guy or not. The point is, he's got a lot of great education. That's why I did it. Now then, the other thing is, I'm surprised that none of you ever really noticed this or not. Why did I put all my videos that were educational on playlists and the rant videos are not even on a playlist? Because of how I wanted you to see the importance of my videos. My playlist videos are far more important than my rant videos. I'm putting an emphasis. I clearly stated an emphasis on this. I said I want to emphasize I am here for your education and occasionally I do a rant. See what I mean? I did that deliberately. I said, look, these are the videos I want you to watch, and if you get past all them, then you can watch all this. If you can find it. Remember, we're talking about over 2,300 videos. Good luck in finding something like this. You almost have to be directed to this to find it. Because there are no tags, there are no playlists, nothing. To find one of these is very hard on my channel. And I made it that way, deliberately. because I wanted you to focus on my playlist first. Hopefully you understood all this. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down here in the comments below. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.